All right, welcome to the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee. This is the meeting for Thursday, October 9th, 2025. I sense a quorum in the room with myself, Vice Chair Evans, Councilmember Truffle, Councilmember Rutherford, Councilmember Spain, and Councilmember Toombs. All right, we are going to start with the public comment period, and most meetings we don't have anybody sign up for public comment, but we've got a lot today, and so we'll start with the public comment. I need to tell y'all that the rule that the council made for public comment. The rule that the council made for public comment is that we have 8 minutes, and which kind of counts about 4 speakers in the public comment period for a committee. We have way more people signed up, and so I am going to say that I am willing to, if the committee is willing to suspend the rules, that we can add 4 minutes to the 8 minutes to a total of 12 minutes, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, how we're going to do that in a minute, but I'd like to add 4 minutes. We have a lot of interest today, and I'd like to add 4 minutes to our 8. Is there any?
So motion?
We don't need a motion. It's just, are there objections?
No.
Okay. All right. So we'll do that, and I think I've explained this to some, but so we're going to go down the list, kind of. We're going to go down the list, but I'm gonna first call for, and staff has helped me organize this, for like two opponents of what they're speaking on, and then two support, and then we'll go to 1 opposed, 1 support, and we'll get through what we can. I would like, if we can, I would like the door closed. And so, speakers, you have 2 minutes to speak. I'm sorry.
I apologize for interrupting. There's an overflow room next door where you can have a seat and still see everything that's happening in this room on the television and hear everything that's happening in this room on the television, if we are too full in here.
Thank you.
The
We do want the speakers to stay in, but and we do like the door closed just to keep the noise from out there and coming in here. So you can speak. A speaker can speak for 2 minutes, and you don't have to speak for 2 minutes. So I think we have 13 speakers, and if you speak, we'll go the 12 minutes since there was no objection, and if we can get all 13 speakers in 12 minutes, great, but we will stop at 12 minutes. So if you don't feel like you need 2 minutes, you can stop, and that time will be added or left for other speakers, okay? Pardon me. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm gonna call the first 4 speakers, and I apologize. I'm just looking at the names for the first time. I apologize if I get this wrong. Sean Kellner. Is that right? Yep. All right. You'll be first. Steve Hirsch. Is that right?
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
And then we'll go to Manon Hall. Yes. And this is hard. Number 7 starts with a C and then last name B.
Craig Bardo.
Thank you. So you'll be 4th, okay? Then we'll go Eaton Snyder. Then we'll go India Punch Gardner. Garcher. Sorry. And then I'll go after. I'll tell you. If we get through that, and we have time, I'll continue the names, okay? All right, so, you ready? And Ms. Vice Chair Evans is going to keep time, and she's got a yellow piece of paper for when you have 15 seconds left after 20, and red means please stop. And I'll probably say something too. All right? All right, Saul?
Yes.
Yes, all right.
Thank you.
And this is a great place to stand for the speakers. All right.
So thank you. I'm Shaul Kellner. I am a professor of Jewish studies at Vanderbilt, and I study discrimination against Jews. And I want to help by giving some historical context. The introduction of Resolution 1547 on Yom Kippur continues a dark pattern. There is a tradition of attacking Jews on their holidays. In Israel, Hamas timed its October 7th Al-Aqsa flood to hit on Simchat Torah. It has sent suicide bombers to Passover Seders. Last week in England, another synagogue was attacked on Yom Kippur. In the U.S., for decades, the anti-Zionist playbook in universities, in unions, and in local governments has involved bringing anti-Israel resolutions on Jewish holidays. University of Maryland did it again just last week. If the vote is held that day, they get a Jew-free environment to institutionalize their hatred. But even if not, the attack hits anyway. The resolutions purport to be about Israel, but the timing targets Jews locally. What happened here in Nashville is not a one-off. We face enough hate from neo-Nazis marching downtown. We don't need the actions of one council member weaponizing Metro Council against us. A council member targeted us by bringing this resolution on Yom Kippur. We went to synagogue to pray, and we got there to learn that we had been attacked. And that's just cruel. The council member owes the Nashville Jewish community an apology. And Jewish Nashvillians deserve to be treated with the same dignity and respect as anyone else. I ask you to vote for an indefinite deferral, and I thank you for your openness to hearing my words. Thank you.
Steve?
Hello, my name is Steve Hirsch, and I live in Nashville. I recommend that the committee indefinitely defer the proposed resolution. First, it's hurtful to the Jewish and Christian people and all people in this community who support Israel. There's been a very loud majority or minority in this country for 2 years that's demonized Israel, and by association all Jews, for fighting a war that began with the horrific massacre of 1,200 civilians and kidnapping of 250 hostages. Somehow the murderers and the rapists, still today holding hostages, have become the good guys in this war, and that's unbelievable to me. Secondly, if the responsibility of this council is to debate world affairs, then the business of taking care of our city would be put on hold. I think that the Nashville public safety, education, infrastructure, these challenges are plenty for the council to have on its plate. Third and finally, this resolution accomplishes nothing and has no impact on Gaza one way or the other. It's based on false information and propaganda that's been released by Hamas and faithfully parroted on social and mainstream media. John Spencer, who's a professor of history at West Point and an expert on urban warfare, has written how the IDF has gone to great lengths to minimize civilian casualties. He also said that if Israel's committing genocide, it's the worst genocide attempt in history, since Israel has provided millions of meals and medical assistance to the Gaza population, a population which, by the way, has increased in the last 2 years. Ladies and gentlemen, please indefinitely defer this proposal. Thank you.
Okay. Mannon, is that right?
Yeah, it rhymes with cannon. I'm going to just read as much of the resolution as possible because I think it should be in the record. A resolution denouncing all acts of the United States government and the state of Israel that contribute to a continuation of the genocide of the Palestinian people. Whereas Article 2 of the Geneva Genocide Convention, adopted by the United Nations General Assembly, has defined genocide as any of the following acts committed with the intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group as such. Number 1, killing members of the group. 2, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group. 3, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, and other acts. And whereas international bodies and agencies, including the Human Rights Council, the International Criminal Court, the International Association of Genocide Scholars, Genocide Watch, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and human rights activists, including Israeli academics and campaign groups, have each conducted investigations and concluded that the actions of the State of Israel and Palestine constitute war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide. And whereas in the third week of August 2025, Israeli Treasury Minister, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name because it's a cool name, clearly stated that the goal of Israel is the total annihilation of Palestinians, and Palestinians, and that Israel was focusing its efforts of destruction on the civilian population, not military infrastructure, as a change in the course of history. And whereas as of September 4th, 2025, more than 248 journalists and media workers have been killed, making it the deadliest ever conflict for journalists. And I'm going to skip down to where it says, now therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville, Davidson County, Section 1, that the Metro Council denounce all acts of the U.S. government and the State of Israel that contribute to a continuation of the genocide of the Palestinian people. Section 2, that the Council affirms that this humanitarian crisis calls for immediate actions, including the immediate cease of all sales and transfers of military arms and financial support to the State of Israel. Section 3, that the Council demands that using any and all diplomatic means possible, the U.S. government and the State of Israel must protect of the rights of the Palestinian people to live in their homeland free from violence as required by international law.
Thank you. All right, Craig?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have one as well.
I'll share.
I didn't get another one. I'm thirsty.
Ready?
Go ahead, sir.
My name is Craig Bardo. I'm a member of the Black Alliance for Peace, Veterans for Peace, and the Party for Socialism and Liberation. We live under an empire that dresses up brutality as order. Rules aren't neutral. They're tools to protect wealth, silence dissent, and to deny people's dignity. Behind the polite language of process sit billionaire vanity projects, corporate interests, and well-funded lobbying networks vying for the right to displace here at home and to kill abroad. You can't separate the manipulation of rules by committees that perform democracy at home from the violence we sponsor overseas. The same systems that fast-track private profit and dodge public scrutiny also shield atrocity from public reckoning. That's not a bug, that's design. We're also disgusted by a mayor's office that cozies up to Capitol while people who make Nashville work can't afford to live here. Our patience is not an asset for politicians to spend. Our patience is a warning. Our outrage is a promise. If order means protecting the powerful at the cost of human life and dignity, then we reject that order. If rules mean stalling justice so officials can keep their hands clean, then we'll fill these rooms to expose the filth in your hands. We're organizers, neighbors, and witnesses. We won't be pacified by delay or decorum. So don't mistake any current decorum for consent. Just like we don't confuse your procedure for moral clarity. Stand to be held to account. We'll remember those who stood for decency and dignity, and we'll especially remember those who hid themselves behind the rules to betray it.
Thank you. All right. Eaton?
Eaton.
E-I-T-A-N, is that right?
It's Alyssa.
Alyssa?
Yes.
Alyssa's 7.
Oh, sorry.
In the
Alyssa
Snyder?
Rosenack. He's not here.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go to Alyssa. Right. Thank you.
Members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Alyssa Rosenheck. Since the October 7th massacre, I've traveled to Israel multiple times, meeting with hostage families, hostages, survivors, attending briefings with Israeli civil and military leadership, and working closely with national Jewish organizations here in the United States. I urge the committee to vote for an indefinite deferral. This resolution addresses the actions of a foreign government, a matter that falls entirely outside the business of this council. Since October 7th, the genocide lie has been resurrected for political propaganda. There's a tactic behind this called political DARVO, deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. This resolution denies the genocidal massacre Israel faced on October 7th. It denies Hamas's goal to eliminate the Jewish state. It attacks Israel for defending its citizens, and it reverses the roles of victim and offender in this conflict. Victims do not start wars, victims do not hold hostages, and victims do not rape. This resolution cites journalists, yet some were complicit in the attacks. Members of Hamas were held hostages. Freelance journalist Muthana al-Najjar filmed the abduction of Shuri Bibis and her 2 babies. Abdullah al-Jamal of Al Jazeera journalist, was found holding 3 Israeli hostages in his personal home. The claim of genocide ignores both law and fact. Under international law, genocide requires intent and action to destroy a people. Israel meets neither. Its intent is clear: to defeat Hamas and return the hostages. Israel has delivered more humanitarian aid to an enemy population during wartime than any nation in history. Over 109,000 trucks carrying 2.1 million tons of aid have entered Gaza. This resolution mirrors one that was withdrawn last year, originating from the largest BDS arm in North America, a campaign that seeks to isolate, eliminate Israel. Hamas wages war, BDS wages political war through local councils like this one. Again, I urge the committee for an indefinite deferral, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. India.
India Pungarcher, I'm asking the committee for your support of Resolution 1457. I think that this resolution seeks to do really the bare minimum that we need to do in Nashville. I'm going to share some words that illustrate why what's occurring overseas should be and is a genocide. I'm reading with permission words from a friend named Baha who is in Gaza with his family and his children, and he asked me to share these words tonight when we were talking about what council was going to be speaking on this evening. Just a few days ago, my family and I were forcibly displaced from our home. We now have no shelter, no food, and none of the most basic necessities of life. We are living under the open sky, beneath burning sun, without even a tent to protect us. Every day is a struggle to survive. We are not asking for much, only a simple tent to shelter us, food to ease our hunger. I'm not writing these words from a warm place, nor from a safe home. I'm writing from the ground, beneath the rubble, under a scorching sun that burns our bodies just as war burned our homes. I was forcibly displaced along with my family. We lost everything in a moment, our home, our clothes, our food, and our sense of safety. My child looks at me and asks questions. I have no answers, only endless tears and a silence full of pain. We're not asking for luxury, we're asking to survive. We're suffocating from helplessness and clinging to the hope that somewhere, someone's heart still beats. Another day he messaged and said, "We don't live like other people. We struggle every day to survive. In Gaza, life has become a daily struggle with pain and endless suffering. I wake up every morning to the sound of a hungry child, to my wife's worried face, and to a tent that offers no protection from the heat of the sun or the cold of the night. We wait long hours for a little water or a loaf of bread. There's no electricity, no adequate food, no medicine, not even rest. My child cries at night from hunger and cold, and I have nothing for him. My mother tries to calm him, her heart torn apart. And me, I stand helpless, counting the hours, wishing only for the day to come when we can live in dignity. Can anyone imagine?" Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna do one more speech because we have 45 seconds. And David.
My name is David Zilberman, and I'm an Israeli-American and proud member of Nashville's Jewish community. The resolution proposed by Councilmember Welsh is deeply misguided. The Council's duty is to serve the people of Nashville, not to pass divisive political judgments on conflicts thousands of miles away. Only the International Court of Justice can determine whether genocide has occurred. It has not found Israel guilty, and that case is still ongoing. Declaring otherwise is not only premature, it's misleading. Timing was already spoken about, which is both intentional and cruel with it being on Yom Kippur. Meanwhile, anti-Semitism is surging, even here in Nashville. We've seen Nazi marches on the far right and protests on the far left calling to globalize the Intifada. These aren't abstract threats. These are real fears that our community faces. Nashville should be united against hatred. Yet this resolution singles out the world's only Jewish state with false and inflammatory claims, while ignoring atrocities in places like Sudan, Syria, Turkey, Yemen, China, Nigeria, and beyond. That double standard is unfair and to many anti-Semitic at its core. I urge you to indefinitely defer this resolution and keep our attention on where it belongs, making Nashville a safer, stronger, and more united city for everyone.
Thank you. We're out of time. We appreciate everybody. We did add more. We tried to accommodate as many as we could. I know that there's a public comment that I bet some of you were signed up for in the full council meeting. And so we're gonna now move to our agenda. And all right, so the first thing we're gonna do is the resolutions, and we'll first do the ones that are on consent. I'd like to ask, they're kind of a bunch this time, a bunch of resolutions, and so I'm going to ask committee members if you want to eyeball these and see, I believe, based on numerous factors that we're gonna pull, number 3 off, 1547. And I believe the sponsor would like that too. But help me look and see if there's anything else that we need to pull off consent, and if not, I'll read these into the consent agenda. I mean, there's some good stuff in here, but. You see anything that needs to come off? All right, so I'm gonna read the, so basically it's 1 through 11 will be on consent with the exception of number 3. So I'm gonna read through, the captions and, then we'll take a vote on the, consent agenda. All right, RS 2025-1545, a resolution expressing Metropolitan Council's unified condemnation of political violence, affirming the right of every person to hold and voice their opinions, and calling upon state and federal leaders to work toward unity and to take stronger action to end political violence. Item 2, RS 2025-1546, a resolution requesting that the Tennessee General Assembly authorize the naming of Woodlawn Avenue Bridge over Interstate 440 as the Jan Bushing Bridge. Item 4, RS 2025-1548, a resolution honoring the life of Grammy-winning songwriter Brett James. RS 2025-1549, a resolution recognizing the portion of Western Highland Rim Forest located within the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County as Nashville's Highland Rim Forest. Item 6, RS 2025-1550, a resolution recognizing the International Black Film Festival for its 20th anniversary. RS 2025-1551, a resolution commemorating the 80th anniversary of Riverside Chapel Seventh-day Adventist Church. Item 8, RS 2025-1552, a resolution recognizing September 15th through October 15th, 2025 as Hispanic Heritage Month in Nashville and Davidson County. Item 9, RS 2025-1553, a resolution recognizing October 8th, 2025 as International Lesbian Day in Nashville and Davidson County. Item 10, RS 2025-1554, a resolution recognizing October 11th, 2025 as National Coming Out Day in Nashville and Davidson County. And item RS 2025-1555, a resolution recognizing October 2nd, 2025 as Wrongful Conviction Day in Nashville and Davidson County. Now that we've read through them, are there any removals from the consent agenda?
Second.
All right, all in favor of the consent agenda?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so we're at 7, right? 7 in favor, 0 against. All right, now we move to RS 2025-1547, a resolution denouncing all acts of the United States government and the State of Israel that contribute to a continuation of the genocide of the Palestinian people. I thought, Councilmember Welch, would you like to speak to your resolution?
Yes, I would. Thank you very much. I'd first like to address a few things that were in the comments here today, particularly the comment about timing. This resolution was actually introduced for the prior council meeting, and I missed the deadline, and it was moved to this council meeting. And so the timing had only to do with the council calendar. It had literally nothing to do with the Jewish calendar of holidays. So I wanted to address that straight off because that was not the intent. That was simply me missing a deadline. That's the council calendar. And also why this resolution, I believe, is important for Nashville, because we have Palestinians who live here. We have over 3,000 Palestinians who live here. We have one Palestinian member of this community who has lost 240 family members in the past 2 years in this war in Gaza. They feel invisible, they feel unheard, and they have a right as a part of our community, as the Jewish community does, to be heard and to know that they are seen and what they are going through is acknowledged. But I think the overarching thing that I want people to understand about this particular resolution is that this is not about the Jewish people. This is about the government of the state of Israel and the government of the United States and what they are doing in our name with our money in the Middle East. This is calling out governments for doing this. And I think that's very important, that we call out our government and not let our governments do these things in our name, including what is happening here in this country right now under our current government. This is not a matter of taking sides. That makes us and them. And us and them is what is fueling the rise of hatred and fascism throughout this world. And no one wins with that, because someone will always be the next them. And we need to make sure that we are always calling out this types of violence, no matter who is being victimized. We are called to do that as human beings, and when we do not do that, we lose a piece of our humanity, and that makes the next time that there is an incursion of evil come much easier to get a foothold and manifest and flourish. So I call on all of us to reaffirm the dignity of all people and support resolutions that call for exactly that, that we recognize people's humanity and dignity and say, this is happening, this is wrong, and this must stop. So I ask you for your support. Thank you.
All right, do I have a motion from the committee?
So moved.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate all the speakers that we've heard from, and I share a lot of their concerns with both with the content and the timing of this resolution, but I'm not going to go into those because I agree with the last speaker who said that this is not what we were elected to do. We're here to serve the people of Nashville, and the sponsor's intentions notwithstanding, I don't see how this serves that purpose. In fact, just the opposite. It seems to me that it only serves to divide this council and further divide our community. So for that reason, I'm going to move for an indefinite deferral.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Discussion of the motion to indefinitely defer.
If I could.
Yes,
Thank you.
Councilmember Prepty.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a difficult issue for so many folks. Because I hear exactly and empathize with the pain of our Jewish neighbors, of the horrific attacks that occurred on October 7th, which are inexcusable. I think we can all agree on that. To the point that my colleague just made, to a certain extent, I do agree that this is outside of our purview. However, as we can see from you all being present here today and letting your voices be heard, every single person, regardless of the stance that you take on this resolution, that this conflict touches the lives of our neighbors and it affects them, and every single person here has shown that this conflict affects you. And I think it's vital that we bring every person in and make sure that every person in our community feels heard, feels safe, ensures that we are taking heed of all of their concerns. One of the things I've got my statement that I made at my swearing in, which I think is poignant to this matter, and I'm not going to read the entire thing, but in parts of it I said, it's my hope that together we can continue to build on the progress we've made and continue to fight against discrimination in all of its forms and make our politics more representative of all the people that we serve, every single person. As we begin this new council term, we will face many challenges, both anticipated and unforeseen, including keeping our community safe, battling against the continued proliferation of the abhorrent ideologies of Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, and white nationalism. And as you all know, this is those particular areas is work that I've done before my time on council, and have continued that work. And so I think it's vital that we do have these conversations. Again, I fully recognize that Nashville Metro Council does not dictate foreign policy to the State Department. They could care less what we have to say. But it affects our neighbors, and it's something that we have to provide space for these conversations to happen, for everybody to be able to feel heard, and again, so that everybody can feel safe in in Nashville and in our neighborhoods. Because I've had conversations with folks across the spectrum in the Jewish community who have articulated that they feel a profound pain in feeling as if the attacks on October 7th and the continued holding of hostages makes them feel unheard, unseen, and as if they're not important. I've also had very similar conversations with folks in our Palestinian community who have said almost the exact same thing, that the inaction and inability and unwillingness to talk about this issue that touches our community makes them feel as if they are not valued members of our community. So I wanted to state that on the record because this is something important that I feel we all have a moral obligation to call for the release of the hostages, the end to this war, the opening of further humanitarian corridors, because there is profound and generational suffering that is happening both in our community, in our country, internationally, both in the state of Israel and within the Palestinian territories. I'm going to abstain on this particular vote, but I wanted to articulate that so people can know exactly where we stand, that this is a nuanced issue that requires all of us to have a level of empathy and understanding for the pain that people are experiencing, because it is profound. This is not related, but for me personally, I have a semblance of what folks are experiencing and feeling in this moment, because in talking to my parents about Haiti, oftentimes they are nearly brought to tears, which I've only seen my father cry once, in the fact that the nation that they once called home no longer exists because of the continuing deteriorating situation and socio-political situation in Haiti. So all it is to say is that I want every single person here to know that I hear you, I see you, you are important members of our community, and that this is something that, even though we have no statutory authority over, it is something absolutely that we must, even if it's just in our individualized capacities, address so that so every single person who is present here in Nashville knows that they are loved, that they are cared for, and that we hear and see them. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember James.
Thank you, Chair, and I echo the sentiments of my colleague, Councilman Prep-Teed. I do want to make a couple of points. One, I hear often that as a local government, we should stay out of issues on the federal level. And I want to point out that there is a relationship and interaction between local, state, and federal government. If there are issues on the state level or federal level that impact our residents, we do, as the local body that is closest to the people, have an obligation to petition our state representatives, to petition our federal representatives. We have an entire national organization called the National League of Cities that has lobbyists that lobby the federal government on behalf of cities. We have a Tennessee Municipal League that lobbies state government on behalf of cities. So to think that there's a complete separation between state, local, state, and federal government is false. We all work together for the betterment of the people. We're just closest to the people as local elected officials. I thought we had not resolved, but had addressed this issue as a body when Councilman Coopin and Councilwoman Swarer worked together on a joint resolution. I thought that the purpose of that legislation was to recognize the humanity of the Jewish community as well as the Palestinian community. When I read this resolution, the language is inflammatory from any objective perspective. It's inflammatory. It is not, the sponsor can't say that it doesn't impact or speak to the Jewish community, but it uplifts the humanity of the Palestinian community. In that it's uplifting the Palestinian community, but then it's just talking about government. It's inflammatory. It's divisive to the council. As the chair of the minority caucus, if there was legislation that I felt was anti-black or anti-Hispanic or anti any community of color, I would expect my colleagues to respect my personal opinion as well as the opinion of the caucus that the legislation was discriminatory or inflammatory or whatever. I have heard from members of the Jewish community. I've seen posts from colleagues who are Jewish, and they are highly offended by this legislation. I respect their opinion. I am not a member of either community, so I can only listen. I agree with Councilman Prep T. I see what's happening. What happened on October 7th was horrific. I see on the news mothers wailing over their murdered babies, parents wailing, brothers, sisters, the bombings. It's all horrific. However, I think out of respect for our Jewish colleagues, out of respect for an entire community that is highly incensed by this resolution, it's not unifying, it's inflammatory. If this is something saying, recognize the humanity of Palestinian people, whatever that looks like, it would be a different story. But this legislation, as it's written, I can't support it.
Thank you. And thank you for bringing up the previous legislation that I think was worked on by a lot of colleagues. I'm going to make a brief comment that kind of goes to the argument about that it's not our business. Like I get, this is a tough issue, and there is a lot of perspective and a lot of history, and I believe that I believe it is incendiary in places, and I believe that the caption, the lead-in is pretty stark, and I think to vote on something that the council is like endorsing that stark comment, I think we really need to do our research. And while I care about this issue, I feel like I know less than the things that I know are less than the things that I don't know. I don't know a lot about this issue, and I would really prefer to spend my time. I care about it, but I would prefer to spend my time on, streets and Vision Zero and housing and things like that. And I just think we should, if we're going to move this forward, I believe that we really have to research and know what we're asserting. And I don't feel like I want to take the time to do that. Not that it's not an important issue, but I think that the important issues that we need to face should take up our time. Are there any other members who want to speak? Yes, Councilmember Evans.
I just wanted to say that I made a commitment that I would support an indefinite deferral, even though I understand your perspective more after hearing you speak as the sponsor, and I appreciate that. But I also believe we need to focus kind of on our own backyard, and we have issues within our own body that we really need to work on together. And I don't feel like it's appropriate to even contemplate an issue as important and significant as an international conflict when we can't manage some of the interpersonal dynamics that we have on our council. And so I'm going to continue to support the indefinite deferral.
Any other speakers? All right, thank you. Are we ready for a vote? The motion is to defer indefinitely. All in favor of the motion to indefinitely defer?
Aye.
Aye. And those against? And those abstaining? Okay, so we have, there's 7 of us, so it is 6 in favor, 6 in favor and 1 abstaining. Correct? All right, thank you. All right, now we're going to jump to our late filed amendments. And you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. We will need a few seats for the nominees that will be interviewing in just a few minutes. But feel free to stay. All right,
I hope I didn't. Good luck with your daughter. Oh, good. I appreciate your comments.
Take care. Thanks for being here. Thank you.
all right, thank you for that. Now we are at 6. Okay.
Late files?
I do want to move on. All right, we have 2 or 3 late items. The first is item 12, late filed amendment to BL 2025-995 by Webb, and it is an ordinance. Are we ready to continue?
Yep.
It's an ordinance amending sections 10.26.010, 10.28.010, and 16.24.330 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws pertaining to intentional designs for vegetative growth. And this is a late filed amendment. Is Webb also the?
She's the sponsor of the amendment, but not the sponsor of the main bill. Do you want me to go see
Oh,
if I
okay.
can find her?
Yes. Should I put this to the pen on the late items and go to the next one?
Sure.
So we're at 5 now? Okay. All right, item 13, late filed amendment to BL 2025-1048 by Allen. An ordinance amending Title 16 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws regarding fence regulations. Councilmember Allen, would you like to speak to the late filed nature of the amendment?
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you very much. So there was some back and forth between me and the council office, and it just got lost in the shuffle. Yes, I do want to file this in time to get it filed on time, but the discussion began on Friday when it should have. And because this bill doesn't actually deal with Title 17, it's not amendable on 3rd reading, so I need to get this amendment on 2nd reading if I can.
Okay. And so it's on 2nd reading tonight?
It's in 2nd reading.
Okay. All right, any discussion? Yes?
I'm in support.
Me too.
All right. So let's have a vote. All in favor of the late filed amendment to 1048 by Allen?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting?
Only because it's Allen.
6 in favor, 0 against.
It only does things on a good reason, so.
Councilmember, the jam bushing bill is passed.
I saw that.
The resolution is passed committee.
Great, thank you very much.
All right, and then last is the late filed, item 14, late filed ordinance by Parker. An ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing it from RS5 to R6A zoning for property located at 1435 Meridian Street at the corner of Meridian Street and Gatewood Avenue and located within a detached accessory dwelling unit overlay district, 0.18 acres, all of which is described herein. Parker?
Councilmember Parker has just requested that this be moved to the heel of the
Okay.
agenda.
Okay, so we got 2 things on the heel, right? All right, help me remember this one, Sheriff.
Yep.
All right, 13, no, I'm sorry, it's 12 that we need to come back to, and 14 that we need to come back to. All right, right, we are ready for the board and commission appointees and nominees. The first is the Airport Authority appointment of Karina Aguirre, and you gave me a pronunciation of that.
Got it.
All right. For a term expiring April 5th, 2032. And my understanding is that the nominee has been withdrawn for the time being.
Correct. She'll be back.
Right. Thank you. All right, 16 is the Procurement Standards Board appointment of Shannon Raybon. Is that correct? Shannon Raybon?
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, please. for a term expiring July 20th, 2028. Please come forward. And we have parking validation and a bus card. And the bus card you do not have to use today. You can use it anytime as long as you promise to use it. But I'll put both of those there. You can take both or either. All right, this is an appointment, so you have not been on you're not reappointed, this is brand new for you.
No,
So-
it's a reappointment.
A reappointment?
It's a reappointment.
Oh,
The agenda says appointment, but it's a reappointment.
okay, sorry. So, tell us a little about your desire to continue serving on the Procurement Standards Board, and like what your experience has been, what you would like to do with another term.
Yeah, so
And
I've
about
been
yourself, whatever you
on the
want.
board for quite some time. Mayor Carl Dean appointed me. And so I have seen the board kind of go through different iterations. And I think that there's definitely still some additional work to do. We have a new finance purchasing agent, and he has lots of exciting things kind of on the agenda. And so it's always interesting just to see the different iterations. And with the growth in Nashville, I think that work is so important. And so it is my way of giving back. I'm a native Nashvilleian, so it is my way of giving back to the community, and something that I enjoy doing immensely. I am a 20-plus year lawyer, primarily have done healthcare all of my life, and worked out in Brentwood. So this is a way to get back into Nashville and know what's happening in Nashville and be able to better utilize all of my skills and talents. I don't know if that answers all of your questions or not.
Let's get started. Let's see what others questions others have.
Okay.
Councilman Prepty.
Thank you, Chair. Could you speak to sort of some of your experience on the procurement board, sort of like what are some of the challenges that y'all have faced, and any lessons that you've learned in moving forward on how to make the board work for folks in Nashville?
Yeah, I think, so again, it's gone through, a few different iterations. I think it's really helpful when you bring together a group of people who typically have somebody who has experience in construction. I'm the public at large member, so I'm just listening just as a native Nashvilleian who's interested in learning more about kind of how procurement works and how we kind of, how the business of conducting the business of, I guess, the city of Nashville. So that's kind of my role on the board itself. But I think that, again, it goes through different iterations. And I think that one of the things I would like to see on a go-for-it basis is, in the past, we used to have quite a bit of information about the department itself, right? About how the department works, about the different certifications that they're getting, the different promotions, the different challenges that they're having. We're not getting as much of that right now, and that's something I would like to see kind of more of, because I think that really is really important to how the department runs, right? And how the department runs to make the city run more effectively. So that's something that I hope we can kind of get back to. But we tend to take the directive of the purchasing agent. I think that for sure I am the longest serving person on the board now, and so with Dr. Kroom retiring from MAC, I think and she is sorely missed. And so I am the person who kind of has all the historical knowledge, and so it's just, I don't know, I think probably the lawyer in me is very interested in kind of what they do. It's rulemaking, right? So that's what I do as a professional.
You said lawyer and I was sold.
He's not a lawyer.
Yeah.
We had a procurement working group on the council side. Council at Large Swara led that group as part of the budget committee. And so we learned a lot, I think, about procurement. But I think one of the things, like, it always feels like on the council side, like procurement issues kind of surface when things are taking a really, really long time. And I know sometimes things can't be avoided in supply chain and that kind of thing. And so I guess from your vantage point, like, for me, animal control has these vans, and they have a special insert in the back, and we have gone years without these particular vehicles, and it's been a whole thing. And anyway, so when I think about issues like that, do you feel like you were out making the comment about having a better understanding of like the departments and kind of what they do and the certifications and those kinds of things. Like, how can departments basically ask for equipment maybe that is going to kind of fit within the metro standards better, might be easier to access, those kinds of things? Have you all had, in your recollection, had any discussion about how departments can be told, like, you're not gonna get that van for 8 years, maybe rethink it, or let's figure out an alternative? So I was just curious if that ever come up.
So I think that if I am understanding your questions, a lot of that though would depend on if they had issued an RFP, if they asked the right questions and got the right answers to that. And so it may be that the different purchasing agents, the way they kind of write the RFP, maybe there needs to be more detailed or more specific language in there to give the various departments that are requesting the service a little bit more guidance. I know they work really hard to really try to timely get those processed, as well as really review the different vendors that are out there and able to respond to it. And they do a lot of things in the community to try to get different vendors to respond to the RFPs that are issued. But I would think that if we're saying that there's a question around really how to get what you need, I think it really kind of starts with the RFP and making sure that that's as detailed as possible.
That's a great answer, thank you.
That's what I would think.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Your response to Councilmember Evans' questions makes me think that of something that you had said in your intro about historical knowledge, and I think that that's something that's very important, something that I tend to value. So can you speak a little more to that historical knowledge and maybe give another example of where that can matter in this role?
Well, I think probably the earliest example I gave of when I first joined the board, we kind of started out with just getting a report. And I think, and every purchasing agent has been great, so this is not specific to any one leader of the group, so to speak. But there's a difference in when you come in and just kind of give a report on how things are going well versus, say, when Michelle Lane was the purchasing agent, and it was here are the challenges that we're having as a department. Here is, and here are the current challenges that we're having. Here are the certifications that we're seeking. So those are the types of things that I know a bit more about because I've kind of sat and listened to that, and that's the part that I think we don't currently have. Maybe it's because our purchasing agent is a little bit newer now, but just having that, a lot of it you kind of get to when you're actually sitting in the meeting, right? So I don't know that I could sit here and say, kind of go from A to Z on it, but it's just that, being in the room when the relevant conversations are being had, things just kind of pop up, so to speak. That may not be the best answer, but
No, that works for me.
Yeah. It's the honest answer.
No, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any others? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you,
Councilmember
Mr. Chairman. You mentioning that you're the historical knowledge keeper piqued my interest too. And I just noticed, it seems like lately a large percentage of the procurements that come before us are done through a cooperative, Sourcewell or something like that. And I'm just wondering if you see that as kind of a change in philosophy, or is it just recognizing changes in the environment, or is that kind of the way it's always been and I just haven't paid attention before?
I'm not sure that I understand when you say it's coming through a cooperative.
Most of the contracts, the procurement contracts that we're asked to approve are done through some sort of cooperative purchasing agreement through, whether it's another government entity or something like that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't know that it is newer. I know that it wasn't that way, and I don't even remember, I hate to say this out loud, I don't remember when I first got on the board under Mayor Dean, but we didn't start out that way. And for sure, it is something that as the department looked to provide better service, quicker service, right, more cost-effective service, it is something that they have started doing a bit more of. And it seemed to have worked, but so if there's an issue, I don't know that they've come back and said that they didn't like that approach. But if it's not working, I mean, that's something that we for sure need to know, or they need to know.
I don't have any reason to think that it's not working, I've just noticed there's a lot of them.
It's definitely a shift. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, are we ready for a vote?
Sure.
All those in favor of Shannon Raybon to the Procurement Standards Board for a term expiring July 20th, 2028, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? And we're at 7 right now. Thank you, ma'am. Remember, I got these here for you if you want them.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go back to, wait,
12 and 14.
Webb, Councilmember Webb is not.
I don't believe she's in the building.
All right, so late filed ordinance, by Parker, I think I already read it in the record. Councilmember Parker, would you talk to us about the, emergency filing nature of the bill, of the ordinance?
Sure, it's just a rare staff error. I confirmed with staff that it would be filed for this meeting in a timely fashion, and it did not make it. It was just a clerical error on staff's part, so I think that's the first time that's happened to me in 6 years, so.
That's a pretty good record. We're ready, any questions, ready to vote? Sorry, that was 2 questions. Ready to vote? All right, all those in favor of the late filed nature of item 14 by Parker?
Aye.
Any against? All right, that is 7. Any not voting? That is 7 to 0 to 0. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna move on to the board and commission confirmations that we interviewed last time. Let me remember if they were withdrawn last time, they wouldn't be on here this time, right? Correct. All right, so, or I'm sorry, never mind. All right, board and commission confirmations, I'm gonna do it as a consolidated, motion. The Action Commission reappointment of Michael Cousin for a term expiring November 15th, 2028. To the Action Commission, the appointment of Megan Godby for a term expiring July 1st, 2028. For the Auditorium Commission, appointment of Van Pinnock for a term expiring June 30th, 2028. Board of Mechanical, Plumbing, and Electrical Examiners and Appeals, reappointment of Weston Eiler for a term expiring on September 21st, 2029. The Board of Mechanical, Plumbing, and Electrical Examiners and Appeals, reappointment of Morgan Miller Wallace for a term expiring on September 21st, 2029. The Historical Commission appointment of Caitlin Jones for a term expiring August 10th, 2028. And the Historic Zoning Commission appointment also, again, of Caitlin Jones for a term expiring June 30th, 2030. Anything need to come off consent? All in favor of the consolidated boards and commissions
Aye.
confirmations? Anybody against? Anybody opposed? That's 7 to 0 for all of them. All right, so that's the only thing we got left, I think, is 12 on the web.
I was just
Oh,
gonna
I'm sorry,
ask-
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna ask on that number 12. I mean, I'm happy to sign on to it if there's feedback on why it's late.
I can give feedback on why it's late.
Okay, all right, sounds good. You'll email the clerk?
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you. All right, why is it?
It's late because the amendment was prepared and returned to the council member, but we did not hear back before the amendments packet went out that it was approved for inclusion. So we don't include things if we don't hear back that they're approved. And that's why it's late.
Any additional questions?
And what exactly does this amendment do? If we know.
The amendment changes the buffer from, I believe it changes the buffer from 3 feet to 15 feet.
Any other questions? All in favor of the late filed nature of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, so 7 to 0 to 0. All right, thank you, Councilmember Evans, signing on to that. And just real quick, Chair report real quick. I know about 4 years ago when we were debating a nominee for the Fair Board, I got a little frustrated with the debate and filed a resolution, or I can't remember if it's resolution or ordinance, to, for the clerk to every year give us a report of the demographics of our boards and commissions, so we kind of see how we're doing, and it'll show like, like vacancies and stuff like that. And I can't remember every data point. But, so, and that should come in October. I haven't seen it, but I haven't asked the clerk specifically for it, but I will before the next meeting, and if I do, I'll have staff, send it to you so you can look over it, and if we want to discuss it, we can. Okay?
Okay.
All right, anything else? Meeting adjourned.
Did anybody else get their flu shot today?
I got mine.